Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Weekly, episode number 30. Chris Maloney live to you from London, Ontario, Canada. It is Friday, March the 12th, 2021, and I hope you enjoyed the new opening theme music, as well as a few of my favorite pictures. The last one being the best, by the way. You're welcome there, Christine. But it's funny, I was texting my wife just before I went on the air here, and the past couple episodes I've had a habit of one of my cats who all of a sudden will come out and lay on the wires, whatever the case may be. And he's done it a couple episodes in a row. So sure enough, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting. And lo and behold, I look around the corner and he's sitting there staring at me. And now he's on his back with his paws up in the air. So I told my wife, I said, bets are now on to see how long it takes for him to interfere in the podcast. But he is officially at a distance right now. But my wife said 3 minutes. So it's a couple minutes into the show. So we'll see if she's right. I'm just kind of looking at him right now. But the fact is, for whatever reason, when I started doing podcasts on Fridays, he is right there. Even I think when I did the Saturday episode, I think he was there as well. But anyways, whatever the case, he's not really causing any harm. It's kind of being annoying. But with that being said, again, Chris Maloney, London, Ontario, Canada, episode number 30. It is the most amount of podcasts I have done on one particular brand, so to speak. I had another one previously last year that we did 29 episodes before I shut it down. The original incarnation I had done way back in 2006. I think I went 23 episodes, if I'm not mistaken there, but I am happy to put out episode 30. So like I said, the new theme music, as well as the new graphics in the beginning there, and a few more surprises coming up, but I'll announce those at the end of the show there. So as I do every single week, guys, birthdays, anniversaries, the 12th, which is, he's at his food now. So it's just a matter of time before he makes his way towards the wires there. The 12th, which is today, Donnie Golden Boy Lalonde, born in 1960, 61 years old. People know that name, former WBC light heavyweight champion from November 1987 to November 1988. Ended up losing the title to the one and only Sugar Ray Leonard. He was inducted into the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame and Museum in 1990. And there was a book that was put out where he apparently was in a fight boxing match, so to speak, got paid $6 million, fired one of his trainers beforehand. 10% of that cut would have been $600,000, and he almost got murdered. I think it was back in 1990, whatever the case may be, the same year as the Hall of Fame induction there in Manitoba. But Donnie Lalonde, 61 years old, he did not get murdered. But anyways, you can check that out Wikipedia for the story there. The 14th, which is Sunday, Santino Marella, 1974, he was born. The Milan Miracle is 47 years old on Sunday. Happy birthday to him. The 16th would have been the birthday of the one and only Shawn Tompkins. For those unaware of who Shawn Tompkins is, he was part of Team Tompkins, MMA, UFC. He passed away August the 14th, 2011 at the age of 37, had a heart attack in his sleep. He's near and dear here in London, Ontario. He taught such notable fighters as Vitor Belfort, Mark Hominick, Chris Hordecki, Wanderlei, the ex-murderer Silva, as well as Sam Hansa Stone Stout. So I got the opportunity, I think I was 19 or 20, I believe, and there was a local mall here, and there was an autograph signing taking place, and he was into the boxing scene back then. So I went up and got his autograph. I don't know if I still have it, but it'd be cool if I still did. But yeah, I actually got to meet Shawn Tompkins, way a long time ago. But again, unfortunately, he passed away in 2011. Seems like yesterday, but still near and dear to a lot of people's hearts here in London, Ontario. The 17th would have been the birthday of Andrew Tess Martin. Was born in 1975. Unfortunately, he passed away March 13th, 2009, at the age of 33, and the courtesy of an accidental overdose there. The 17th, St. Paddy's Day, WWF WrestleMania 18 took place at the Sky Dome in Toronto, Ontario, and that was way back in 2002. I might go more into stories when WrestleMania is right around the corner, and we are right around the corner. But I'm talking like maybe the week or the 2 weeks before WrestleMania. I'll get into my WrestleMania personal stories there. I've only been to one, but that was the one I went to, and that was the one that still gives me goosebumps to this day. In fact, this DVD right here, guys, Icon versus Icon, Rock versus Hogan, ended up getting it in St. John, New Brunswick, when I went to one of my good friends' weddings. And I went to, I think, Rogers Cable maybe back in the day, whatever the case may be. And I saw it and was out. So that DVD there is from my home city there. But WrestleMania 18, like I said, the 17th, 2002. So almost 20 years ago. But it's, I mean, near and dear to my heart, along with a lot of Canadian fans as well. And I had floor seats, and the biggest, I mean, obviously the matches are great, but one of the biggest memories I have is basically being there and sitting in the chair for the very first time and just getting goosebumps. And also when the crowd was there, when the stadium, Skydome was full, just on the floor looking around, I was like, holy crap, this is absolutely amazing. So it's, I'll get into it more probably in the next couple of weeks. I'll do a WrestleMania show, but yeah, so WrestleMania 18, 17th, 2002. You can tell I'm excited about it because I'm still going on about. But last but not least, the 18th, Rick the Mortal Martel was born 1956, so 65 years old. So he probably still doesn't look. I haven't seen a recent picture of him, but he was always in good shape. Familiar with him from the AWA, and then he goes into the WWF, and he ends his career as the model, so to speak. I don't think he did much after that. I heard he owned like a hair salon or something like that. It might have been Santana, but he pretty much, I think, has got down the business. But yeah, he's 65 years old on the 18th, which is next Thursday there. And I've got to say this, family, the 14th, which is Sunday as well. Happy 40th birthday to my sister, Nicole. And it's not like she watches this show, but if she ever does, because it's out there on YouTube, Twitch, as well as Facebook, social media there, I want her to know I did wish her a happy 40th birthday on my podcast. So happy birthday to my sister, Nicole. News of the week. Legendary Buddy Colt dies. This was courtesy of Slam Wrestling back on the 15th. Greg Oliver did the article. Where to start to celebrate the long career of Buddy Colt, who died today, March 5th at the age of 85 with the championship title, a name change. How about a plane crash? During the pre-dawn hours of February 20th, 1975, Cessna 182 piloted by Colt crashed in the dark murky waters of Tampa Bay. Bobby Shane, Gary Hart, and Mike McCord, Austin Idol were passengers. Colt headed towards Peter O. Knight Airport on Davis Islands, but the sky was thick with clouds. I'm start thinking I'm probably where I shouldn't be, Colt told the Tampa Bay newspaper. Seemed like a split second. We hit the water. The plane was just about 300 feet from shore and broke into half. Colt, Hart, and McCord swam through Hillsborough Bay to shore. Shane was later found still buckled in the seat. And in its report in the accident, the National Transportation Safety Board listed pilot and command attempted operation beyond experienceability level as its number one probable cause. So, thoughts and prayers are with Buddy Colt. I was unaware of this guy, honestly, but a lot of different news sources had put out articles with regards to who he was, what he meant to the business. The article on Slam Wrestling is lengthy, but that is who Greg Oliver is. He's a book writer and he's big attention to detail. But like I said, thoughts and prayers with family, friends, and fans of Buddy Colt. Like I said, he ended up passing away. News broke on the 5th there. So courtesy of Slam Wrestling. You check out that article, slamwrestling.net. I don't believe it's up on CWN online yet. Been backlogged, so to speak. But you can check that out. Like I said, slamwrestling.net. Joey Mercury files lawsuit against ROH Sinclair Broadcasting. That came out on the 6th. I'm just going to bring up the article here quickly. Joey Mercury, obviously people know from Eminem, from WWE. Adam Birch, best known as Joey Mercury, has filed lawsuits against Ring of Honor and parent company Sinclair Broadcasting. WrestleZone reported that Birch had filed a lawsuit in the state of Maryland against ROH and Sinclair, claiming that he was misclassified as an independent contractor rather than an employee. Birch was part of ROH as a producer from May of 2018 through October 2019. Birch claims he was forced to resign due to the company's lack of concern regarding talent and working without commensurate increase in pay. I can pretend I know how to pronounce that word. Birch's suit also claims that Sinclair and ROH failed to respond to Birch's complaints regarding what he views as an unsafe working environment. And the article goes on. So you can check that out, f4wonline.com, courtesy of Wrestling Observer, of course. Trailblazer Dwayne Johnson dedicates award to his late father, Rocky Johnson. It's the coolest thing in the world. The Rock is still relevant. And I say that, and I'm not trying to be, a dork, so to speak, but this right here, okay? Who's on that cover? The Rock. That is 2002. And 2021, he has been out of the business for like so long as far as a full-time competitor goes. That right there to me is his greatest match he's ever had in his life. And then all of a sudden you still hearing about him, his show, his tequila brand, he's got an energy drink out now, but he's still paying props to his father. And if you watch Young Rock on TV, it's the whole storyline is about his dad as a wrestler and The Rock, being part of that. And it's intertwined, so to speak. And anyways, Slam Wrestling, like I said, Trailblazer Dwayne Johnson dedicates a award to his late father, Rocky Johnson. This is posted by Bloodthirsty Bob Kapur. Got to make sure I get the Bloodthirsty in there. Dwayne The Rock Johnson dedicated his Hollywood Critics Association Trailblazer Award, which he received as part of a virtual ceremony this past Friday, to his father, the late wrestling legend Soul Man Rocky Johnson. Trailblazer Award goes to actors and filmmakers who speak out about important topics and advocate for change. According to the HCA website, Johnson won for using his social media platform to promote important conversations, making donations to frontline workers and first responders during the COVID-19 pandemic, and being a key voice in the Black Lives Matter movement. So his dad, obviously being Canadian from Nova Scotia, Rocky Johnson, but The Rock, to me, he's always seemed larger than life, and one of the nicest guys you could probably ever meet in your life, and he's still showing that side of him. And I'm going to say this, and my wife was asking about it, and when you see Young Rock and you see 2032, and you see that going on TV, and it's a TV show, so to speak, right? But I think it's a prelude. I think it's only a matter of time before that actually happens. 2032, we see The Rock run for president, and as long as he can keep doing what he's doing, I can't see him at all not winning that if he decides to run for office in 2032. Jim Ross interviewed by Dark Side of the Ring covering the plane ride from hell. This I completely forgot about, but it's got to be brought up because it's some names mentioned. Where are we here? Among the stories that have emerged from the infamous flight after a UK event included a scuffle that got tense on the plane between Brock Lesnar and Kurt Hennig, Ric Flair disrobing and appearing naked on the flight, Michael Hayes having his ponytail cut off, and other issues stemming from the alcohol on the chartered flight. Fallout included the release of Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall several days later. A lawsuit was filed in 2004 by two of the flight attendants that was ultimately settled out of court. In 2002, Ross made the following comments in a WWE.com article with regard to the incidents. Flight was about 7 hours in length and at times was low-lighted by a handful of people who had consumed too much alcohol and subsequently acted like children whose parents were away and left the liquor cabinet open. The conduct of the inebriated minority was unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Procedures have been put in place to ensure such conduct does not occur in the future. So I'm looking forward to that episode of Dark Side of the Ring. When I talk about my wrestling when I was growing up as a kid, it wasn't necessarily the WWE. It was always AWA on TSN, Stampede Wrestling on TSN, and Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling on ATV down there in the Maritimes. So AWA, I knew about the Road Warriors. I knew about the Midnight Rockers. Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall and Baron von Raschke was one of my favorites. So it's interesting to know Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall and Ric Flair all being part of something like that. And then you get Brock Lesnar just being Brock Lesnar, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting. I'm loving Dark Side of the Ring. I think it's phenomenal that they're going into season 3, and I can't wait, for it to come up. Other stuff that's going on in Dark Side of the Ring. Coming up is Brian Pillman, Collision in Korea shows from 1995. Dynamite Kid, the Smith family includes Jake Roberts, Grizzly Smith, Sam Houston, and Rockin' Robin, Nick Gage, FMW, Chris Canyon, and Johnny K9. So look forward to that. That'll be on Crave up here in Canada. WWE banned slapping of the leg thigh when throwing kicks. This has been talked about. I don't know how much that you've seen on the internet is actually true. I saw a sign that was posted. I think that was just somebody having fun with it. But I believe Don Callis right now has a t-shirt out on Pro Wrestling Tees making fun of this, so to speak. And to me, it's Vince being Vince. And you know what? He'll say it today and he'll change his mind tomorrow. And it is what it is. And I understand that wrestling has gone into a new realm, so to speak. It's not the old school, hey, Shawn Michaels, one super kick, that's it, match is over. It's transitioned, and to me, sometimes too far. But not necessarily all the time. So I got to say this. I got to say with regards to, that when you watch a lot of the super kicks, you watch a lot of the, and I was listening to a podcast yesterday, I think it was Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, and they were talking about The Rock. And when The Rock hits somebody, like when he punches somebody, he slaps his thigh when he does it. And when you think, if you were to take all that away, wrestling gets a little more stale. Wrestling gets a little more boring. So let the guys be the guys. Let them do what they've been taught naturally to do as far as training goes. But it's more to the story, I think. And, it's either going to run its course and you'll see you'll see guys out there making fun of the fact that Vince McMahon tried to put his foot down, or you'll see this, continue. It's Vince McMahon for you, I guess. AEW Revolution's results for March the 7th. I talked about this on CWN Recap, so check that out. YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch. Ethan Page signs AEW contract, so he's officially with All Elite Wrestling. That came out a Sunday as well. Weird to say AEW on Sundays as far as the pay-per-views go, but pretty cool nonetheless. So I don't know how long he signed. I didn't hear any details of the contract, but he has looked good as far as AEW goes in the 2 matches I've seen him in. Christian Cage revealed his Hall of Fame worthy talent, signs with AEW, signs a multi-year deal. So obviously that was coming out of the pay-per-view as well. AEW Double or Nothing updates. So AEW Double or Nothing 2021 is taking place May 30th, Jacksonville, Florida. Originally, I think it was put for May 29th in Vegas, but that is not happening. So May 30th, Jacksonville, Florida, Daly's Place. Refunds are being issued, but obviously COVID's still having an effect on pay-per-views there. International Women's Day was on the 8th, so happy International Women's Day belated as far as CWN Weekly goes. I did talk about it this past Monday on the recap show. Big Swole details battle with Crohn's disease. This I didn't know about. I just know that she hasn't been relevant, so to speak, with regards to wrestling in AEW. But then I read this and I was like, holy crap, this kind of sucks. So this was courtesy March the 8th, f4wonline.com. Big Swole wrote on social media about her experiences with Crohn's disease over the last year. Swole wrote on social media about her recent struggles with the disease and how the COVID-19 pandemic has had an effect on her treatment. This past year has been filled with ups and downs. After my bout with pneumonia earlier this year, I was informed that resuming my medicine for Crohn's would result in death. Given the COVID-19 circumstances. Seeing as how the biologic I was on shuts down my immune system and acts as such, resuming my medicine was not an option. I was doing all right self-managing until the flare-up started in the fall. As some of you may not know, Crohn's attacks the body as a whole. So on top of my intestines issues, different body parts would lock up and become incapable of bending at the joints. Some days I could barely walk, and that took a toll on me emotionally and mentally. Living with this disease may seem like a thorn, but has also shown me that His grace is sufficient, and no matter what happens, I will smile because I am more than a conqueror. I am Swole, and that mentality, faith, will carry me through it all. I ask that you bear with me. I'm getting the treatments that I need, and my journey to complete healing is underway. Thank you for your love and thoughtful messages. I appreciate them. And you, much love to everyone. Be safe. And then she says cronies. Get well to the Big Swole there. I got to see her a couple summers ago at an event in Toronto. It was literally inches away from her because I was sitting up where the entrance ramp was. And she spun around at one point, and thank God I tucked my head back quickly. Otherwise, I would get smacked in the face by Swole. She's not the tallest, but she is jacked and very pleasant as well. But not somebody I want to mess with. But I hope she gets healthy soon. And I believe she is married to Cedric Alexander as far as the WWE goes. So it'd be interesting to see, if he flips the switch down the road, but or she goes the other way. I can't say anything bad at all about Swole and her career and her persona. And I'm missing the fact that of her being in the ring as far as AEW goes, and as well, I love the gimmick. I love the theme music. It's hard not to want to sing along with it. But get well, Swole, and that's kind of sucks as far as Crohn's goes. I've had people in my life who I've known who have dealt with it, and it's not an easy task, I tell you that. WB Network to launch on Peacock March the 18th. That had been announced. There is a lot of hoopla I think hoopla is the proper word for it to say with regards to that. It's not going easy down there in the States. Up here in Canada, the transition, there's nothing. I pay $14.99 a month for Rogers for WB Network, and next month I'm going to do the same thing, and the next month I'm going to do the same thing. But from the sounds of it, it's a big mess down there in the States. And it's if you listen to the show, if you watch the show at all, because I know we get heavy hits to the website from the States, let me know what's going on down there as far as the network goes and the transition when it does happens. Like I said, March the 18th, Fastlane will be the official first pay-per-view on there. But let me know what's going on, because there's a couple other things that are happening. So WrestleMania tickets on sale next Tuesday, March 16th. Guys, you would have heard that from Raw. So that is big news. From what I've heard, 30,000 people, 30,000 tickets is what they're attempting to sell, so to speak. So it'll be 30,000 night one, 30,000 night two. So that'll be big. So March the 16th, but it is cool to see WB putting tickets on sale once again. Something else, John Laurinaitis back leading WB Talent Relations Department. That was reported by multiple sources. Apparently, Mark Carrano as well as Johnny Ace are going to be taking hold of the reins there. Historic states added to Swan versus Moose. If you'd seen Impact this past Tuesday night, you'll have know that Scott D'Amore put the TNA World Championship against the Impact World Championship in the main event taking place tomorrow night on Sacrifice. The winner from there goes on to I almost said Revolution. That is not right. What is the name for the pay-per-view here? Rebellion. So the winner of that takes on Kenny Omega officially, title versus title at Rebellion. So that is going to be cool. And Rebellion is taking place the 24th of April. So that'll be their next pay-per-view, not iPay-per-view. But I'll get more into Impact Talk as I do the highlights there. Ethan Page's 100th vlog that took place on the 10th, so 2 days ago. So guys, check that out. It's been a while since he did a vlog, but now he's able to again since he signed with AEW. Molly Holly to be inducted in the WB Hall of Fame class of 2021. That is absolutely cool. She deserves it. I had the honor of doing way back in the day, so about 20 years ago, I had the honor of doing a 15 questions with. It was basically a written interview. I'd send 15 questions out. I'd get 15 responses. I'd post the interview. Way back on the website I used to do called ftcwf.ca. And the one of the people I got the actual honor to interview was Molly Holly, so Nora Greenwald. And that was way back, I believe, in the early 2000s. Unfortunately, I had a hard drive crash. The website no longer exists, obviously, because it went into CWN. I have discs like CDs. Google it if you're young to find out what exactly a CD is, guys. But other than that, MySpace, I think was my go-to as far as sending out interview requests and getting interview requests back. And unfortunately, I cannot remember the password for MySpace. So guys, if you know how to do that, let me know, because hopefully I can retrieve the interview. I do have a few. I know that Rory McAllister, the Highlanders was one, but I had interviewed everybody, I think, from Scott D'Amore to Sean Spears to Molly Holly to who am I forgetting? Tracy Brooks, I think, was on that list as well. But it's kind of brings a tear to my eye, but hopefully I'll be able to find them again someday. But anyway, long story short, Molly Holly going into WB Hall of Fame class of 2021. And the big news about this, guys, and I'm going to bring up the article here because it's interesting how they're going to do this. And the reason I say this is because nobody knows specifically how long this is going to be. And I'm just bringing up the article, which is kind of what I'm still in. But WB Hall of Fame special to stream on Peacock on April 6th. So history will be made once again during WrestleMania week as the WB Hall of Fame induction ceremony returns. 2021 Hall of Fame induction ceremony will stream Tuesday, April 6th, exclusively on Peacock in the United States and on WB everywhere else, WB Network everywhere else. And then for the first time ever, the ceremony will feature two classes of inductees taking their place in sports entertainment history. Class of 2020 comprised of Batista, NWO, Bella Twins, JBL, British Bulldog, and Jushin Thunder Liger will be joined by a new class of inductees for 2021. So I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it and they're like, okay, so you've got six groups, so to speak, six entities going into the 2020 WB Hall of Fame. So you've got six groups, so to speak, talking. Then if you've got six inductees, that's 12 people on the mic. Then you've got Molly Holly. Then you get somebody inducting her. So it's going to add up. So are they going to do basically just a special package for somebody, knowing it's, the COVID era, so to speak. Just basically a video package, and then announce, hey, Molly Holly officially into the Hall of Fame, and then have her come out and do her speech. Because if they don't, you're looking at like a Mr. T show. And I laugh about that, but it's honest to God truth. So you've got 2020 class going in, plus if they've got people inducting them, then you get the 2021 class going in, and Molly Holly being the first. So if they've got 6 groups, 6 entities, so to speak, from 2020, they match that with 2021. It's going to be a long, long night. And it's not going to hold a candle to Mr. T's speech or Hillbilly Jim, I believe. But fact is, we're looking for it's going to be a long week as far as WrestleMania goes, I tell you that. And I'm excited because Jushin Thunder Liger, I love NWO. It'd be kind of cool. Batista's kind of cool. I mean, British Bulldog, I've been a fan of his since I was a kid. I was watching WrestleMania 2 the other night, and the British Bulldogs, or the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, absolutely love the guy. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Shout out to George Mackay of Straight Talk Wrestling, getting to do an interview with Georgia. And I've got to listen to that sometime this weekend, because Post Wrestling even picked up on it with regards to sharing some of the thoughts that she had talked about on the show. But props, like I said, to George Mackay. But huge fan of the British Bulldog when I was a kid. So much I wanted a bulldog, and I've got a cat instead who likes to interrupt podcasts. So leave it at that. Christian Cage officially on Oral Sessions with Renee Paquette, about a 50-minute interview that is all over Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as well as YouTube now. Natalia Neidhart, Natty, did an article with regards to Sasha Banks, titled Girl Power at its Finest. Down the States, it is Women's History Month. Here in Canada, I think it's the month of October, but they are still celebrating down the States. So, like I said, Natty Neidhart did an article with regards to Sasha Banks. It's on Jay Briscoe, EC3 O'Clyde, and grudge match at 19th anniversary. That I'm looking forward to. I mean, EC3 is just, he was like the predecessor, so to speak, to MJF with regards to Impact Wrestling TNA. But with regards to his character now, he is more refined, so to speak. And I'm just looking, I think March, I know it's a Friday. And why don't I have ROH up here? Anyways, but first match is being announced, Jay Briscoe, and as well, it's got to be, is it the 26th or is it next weekend? Guys, bear with me a second. I'm old, scatterbrained, so I'm just going to bring up the other. Usually I have everything as far as the upcoming events in order, but for whatever reason, I did not put ROH on there. Where are we here? 19th anniversary officially taking place. Yes, March 26th. So there we go. Don't don't fire me because anyways. Back on track. Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart defeat Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez to win newly unveiled NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. That was kind of cool. I'll get more into that when I talk about the highlights. Jordan Devlin coming to NXT next week. Talk more about that when I get to the highlights. NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver set to take place Wednesday, April 7th and Thursday, April 8th. I will bring that up there because this is it's big in a way for a couple of reasons. So the brightest superstars at NXT are ready to stand and deliver once again on the black and gold brand's biggest stage. As announced Wednesday night by NXT General Manager William Regal, NXT will present NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1 on Wednesday, April 7th on USA. So same time, so that should air on Sportsnet here in Canada, with Night 2 on Thursday, April 8th, streaming exclusively on Peacock for the States and on WB Network everywhere else. So that should be, I can't see why Canada wouldn't do it. So Night 2 will be, like I said, WB Network here in Canada. Night 1 would be Sportsnet or Sportsnet Now here in Canada. One of the reasons I want to talk about this as well, there's a lot of heavy rumor. This is it for NXT as far as Wednesday nights go. And like I said, it's going to be a huge week as far as WrestleMania WB goes that week. But there's a lot of other talk that happened in the last 48 hours with the NHL switching over to ESPN. And if that's the case, the availability on the USA Network will still be open to NXT. So it's just a matter of whether or not the NHL, scheduling wise, because I mean, obviously we're going to have, the playoffs, everything else, but scheduling wise, whether or not it's going to affect them, if it's going to affect them too huge, yes, they'll make the switch to Tuesday nights. If it won't, then so be it. And they may stay on Wednesdays. their rating wasn't that bad this week, and it was on par with last week's. I'll tell you that much. So it's just a matter of where they want to go, and how they want to do it, and how much reign Triple H actually has down there. And I guess we'll wait and see, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens after the pay-per-view. Stand and Deliver, like I said, April the 7th and April 8th. Win the Ultimate AEW Fan Experience with Chris Jericho. That was launched on the 11th yesterday. You can check that out on YouTube as well as CWNonline.ca. It's a pretty cool contest there. Legendary Intercontinental Champions Trademark Moves, WWE 2K Battlegrounds Top 10. That is under the gaming section of CWNonline.ca. Anna Jay undergoes successful shoulder surgery. So this came out yesterday with regards to her posting a post with regards to Twitter. Obviously, she was out of the eliminated tournament. She dislocated shoulder. Originally was supposed to be out 6 to 12 months. Nobody knows for sure now, but this comes courtesy from her yesterday. Hi everyone, just got my shoulder surgery and all is well. For the next 2 days, I will most likely sleep and eat only ice cream and soup. I love the ice cream reference. I'll get more into that. Anybody who watched AEW this past week will know that. But after that, I'll be working my ass off in any way I can. Thanks for all the support and well wishes. And then she signs at 99, which was kind of cool as well. So get well there, Anna Jay. It's only a matter of time before I think you're back kicking ass and hopefully winning championships there. Becky Lynch's father passes away. That was unfortunate news that came out yesterday as well. She did a touching tribute on Instagram, so you can follow her on Instagram and see the tribute that she paid towards her pops. But thoughts and prayers are with her and her family at this time. Miranda Gordy, daughter of Terry Gordy, receives WWE tryout. And this I was unaware of, but pretty damn cool, because if you grew up a wrestling fan in the 80s, I mean, the Freebirds, and obviously he had that run back in the WWE as the, I forget his name, but he had the big axe with the Reaper costume, so to speak. But anyways, long story short, Gordy's been around for a while, passed away way too soon. But independent talent Miranda Gordy, several years into her in-ring career, and she's recently been competing for SWE Fury promotion in Texas. Also wrestled for Thunder Rosa's Mission Pro Wrestling promotion in December. Miranda is the daughter of former two-time AJPW Triple Crown heavyweight champion and former Fabulous Freebirds member Terry Gordy. Terry unfortunately passed away in July of 2001. And then it goes on to talk about her tryout with NXT. And back in February, WB revealed the newest performance class that includes the likes of Taya Valkyrie, Anthony Henry, Eli Drake, now known as LA Knight. So it'll be interesting to see if she pops up based on name. But it is kind of cool to hear the name Gordy in 2021 with regards to a big-time wrestling promotion there. Ben Carter. Geez, I get the mumbles going on right now. Ben Carter undergoes name change, now known as Nathan Frazier. It is what it is. It's the WWE. Tracy Williams challenges Dragon Lee for the ROH World Television Championship at 19th anniversary. That was released yesterday. Dwayne Johnson gets reflective in a post about potential XFL-CFL tag team. This is interesting. So that is courtesy of Slam Wrestling. You can find the article up there. I don't think it's on CWNonline.ca yet, but when you think about it, the CFL at one point transitioned down into the States. And to me, I loved it. It was them not necessarily going up against the NFL, but it was them trying to make a move to make their promotion, make their league bigger. So all of a sudden now you get the XFL. You got The Rock's ties to Canada and his dad. You get The Rock's ties to the CFL with regards to the Calgary Stampeders. And now all of a sudden you get the XFL and the CFL. And what do you want to do? And I'm looking forward to it. Now, what kind of rules do they play by? Because obviously they have to have a set of rules for the two leagues to go by. Do they play by CFL rules or do they go by the XFL rules? And nobody's heard anything about the XFL and whether or not they're going to change anything up. All I know is that I think that the same teams are going to stay in the XFL. 2022 is the year XFL makes its comeback. CFL, I haven't heard anything at all with regards to whether or not they're going to play a season this year. I tell you this, I miss it. Friday nights, Sundays, the weekend, so to speak. The Grey Cup, I missed last year. It sucked. And Friday Night Football on TSN, so to speak, I missed that too. I'll tell you this, the day before I got married, and this was back in 2017, I'm in a hotel room. I'm just chilling, and I'm trying to mentally exhaust myself. So I get a little bit of whiskey going on, but I get the CFL on TV as well. And it was how I spent the night before my wedding, and it was, to me, it's Canadian, and and when it's not there, it's like the NHL. It sucks. It's like, I'll say this, I'm wearing a Red Sox hat, but it's like the Blue Jays. And a small story is, I was watching a video last night by Tim McAuliffe, who is on Sportsnet 360 up here in Canada, the Tim and Sid show. Well, now he's doing his own thing. And he had posted a 9-minute video online with regards to the 1-year anniversary of COVID-19, which was yesterday. And, he was posting how, with regards to the scenery and the fans and moments with the fans being there. And one of them was Batista's bat flip. And even as a Red Sox fan, like, holy crap, you think about no fans being there, and it'd be a different level. You know what I mean? So the fact that COVID took its effect with regards to pro sports, CFL being one of them, I want to see it back. And for them to hook up with the XFL and The Rock, I think it'd be absolutely cool. So it's, I guess we'll wait and see where it goes. Speaking of the CFL, Winnipeggers, episode number 34, offensive ads. And I say Winnipeggers, not Jets, but the Blue Bombers there. But Jericho released another episode yesterday. So check that out on YouTube. Edge's World Championship win, WWE playlist that was released today. Check that out on YouTube as well. And then one more YouTube for you, Edge versus The Undertaker World Heavyweight Championship match, WrestleMania. Was that 4? WrestleMania 24, sorry. That's on YouTube as well. Yes, the old age is kicking in once again. WWE's Asuka still recovering from concussion. That came out today officially from f4wonline.com. So whether or not she's going to be ready to go for WrestleMania, I don't know. You've got the what I call the Charlotte Flair factor over there. So, I mean, she obviously can be part of WrestleMania. And then you've got, obviously, Peyton Royce, who's stepping up as well. But this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported the WWE Raw Women's Champion Asuka is still recovering from a concussion. 39-year-old suffered the injury of a misplaced Shayna Baszler kick during a tag team match on the February 22nd Raw and has been on the shelf ever since. According to Meltzer, she is still scheduled to defend the title against Charlotte Flair at next month's WrestleMania. However, that isn't a guarantee if she can't get cleared. So it's going to be interesting because of the fact, like I said, I talked about Peyton Royce, but at the same time, that may be the match they go to. But if Shayna Baszler is the one who put her on the shelf, what do you do then? I mean, do you split her and Nia Jax up to have Shayna fight, Charlotte Flair, which would be cool as well? Or do you give the match to Peyton Royce? But I mean, we're still a week away from Fastlane, so anything's possible. But they've been keeping quiet as far as Asuka goes. I mean, Charlotte's been making reference to it, but the fact is they haven't been promoting their Raw Women's Champion at this point. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. But get well, Asuka. I mean, you're missed, but it's they got to be safe, and that's the main thing there. Where are we? Updated lineup for the premiere of AEW Dark Elevation. So I'm looking forward to this. More wrestling, but I mean, it is what it is. We shouldn't be complaining. God, I'm doing a wrestling podcast right now, so I'm the last one who should be complaining. But this came courtesy of postwrestling.com. AEW has made additional match announcements for the premiere AEW Dark Elevation this Monday night. Show will premiere on AEW YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Commentary by the team of Tony Schiavone and the one and only Paul White. It was announced by Tony Khan that the main event for the first episode would feature former AEW Women's Champion Riho taking on Maki Ito. And then we've got Jungle Boy, Danny Limelight, The Butcher's Blade, and Private Party taking on Dean Alexander, Carly Bravo, David Ali, and Bridge Aldridge. So a lot of names you're going to see are either not being used by AEW right now or they're new to the AEW roster. We got Ty Conti taking on Ashley Vox, Max Caster, Dante Martin, QT Marshall taking on Marco Stunt. That's going to be interesting. Powerhouse Hobbs taking on Brandon Cutler, Red Velvet taking on Danny Jordan, Ray Lynn taking on Abaddon, Diamante taking on Lila Gray, Big Swole taking on Skylar Moore. It's funny. I was just talking about Big Swole, and she's actually wrestling, which is it's kind of cool. And Miro and Kit Sabian taking on Baron Black and Very Morales. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, when you we've talked about WWE NXT Evolve eventually going to take place. This as well is kind of cool as well, but I mean, it's another hour of wrestling, so to speak. And if it's anything like Dark, it's going to be 2 hours, and it's going to cut into thank God for PVRs and replays. I tell you that much. From there, Kenny Omega comments on failed explosion at AEW Revolution. The article's out there, but I'm not going to go into details. Everybody's been talking about it all week. But the fact is they're playing on it. Omega actually released a real statement saying they had tested it, and everything went well. And the next thing you know, it's a live show, and what happens. But it was funny to watch AEW this past week with regards to how they explained it with Callis and Moxley and Eddie Kingston, obviously. And the last little bit of news before we go into a New Japan Cup date. Oral sessions with Renee Paquette released today officially with Paul White, otherwise known as The Big Show, episode number 22. So, guys, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's gotta find the article here. So they go again tomorrow. The official finals will take place Sunday, March 21st, Sendai, Japan. So good news is it never goes against anything North American related. I'm in saying that there's 2 pay-per-views taking place that day, but you can still get your New Japan fix that morning and then watch the 2 pay-per-views that night. But this was March 11th. So New Japan Cup date, first 2 quarterfinalists emerge in Eheim. And so when you're looking at the brackets here, and this is the current bracket, so this is who's still in it. Evil is going to be taking on Toru Yano. That is on the 16th. We got Hiroki Goto taking on Okada on the 13th, which is tomorrow morning. The winner will go on. And then we've also got Minoru Suzuki taking on Kenta. So it's going to be Hiroki Goto, Shingo Takagi, Suzuki and Kenta, and then the obviously the 2 winners will face each other there. That's on the left-hand side of the bracket. Right-hand side of the bracket, we've got Will Ospreay taking on Zack Sabre Jr. That will take place on the 14th, which is Sunday morning, so you can still get your fix as far as anything else goes that night. Yuji Nagata will take on Sonata as well on the 14th. We got David Finlay, Finjuice, taking on Yoshihashi. That is on the 15th as well. And then we got Jay White taking on, and this is going to be huge, Hiroshi Tanahashi on the 15th as well, which is going to be the Monday there. So that is absolutely huge. As far as what's going on tomorrow goes, I'm just going to bring this up quickly. And when I say tomorrow, I mean tomorrow morning. So it's going to be 1800, so 6 o'clock Japan time, which will be 4 a.m. over here in Canada, London, Ontario specifically. But you've got your tag team matches taking place to begin with. And when I say tag team, it's 6-man tag teams, everything like that, which is what New Japan does. And then, like I said, the 2 main events, so to speak, in the New Japan Cup are Minoru Suzuki battling Kenta. That's a toughie because you've got old school legend taking on Kenta, who's just an arrogant jackass, and that's just the best way to put Kenta. But I'd love to see Suzuki win, but I mean, it's Bullet Club. It's going to be interesting. I'm not going to predict a winner because I mean, bias. I'm going to say Suzuki, but I can easily see them going with Kenta as well. And then main event for tomorrow morning is Hiroki Goto taking on Shingo Takagi. A huge Takagi fan, a huge Dragon fan, so I'm going to say Takagi right there, guys. So rumors of the week, and guys, hit me back up, feedback@cwnonline.ca, and let me know what you think. First on the list is Creative has nothing for Aleister Black right now. WWE will sit him out the remainder of his contract, and rumored to be expired in October of 2021. So if you're listening to this, hit me up with a comment, feedback@cwnonline.ca. Let me know your thoughts on the WWE putting Aleister Black on the shelves until October 2021. Is this because Zelina drifted, or is this because the fact is Vince McMahon seriously sees nothing in this guy? So hit me up, feedback@cwnonline.ca, and then your thoughts as well on something else that I had heard today, and that was Dax Harwood hints at Chad Gable going to the leaving the WWE for AEW potentially. So hit me up on that as well, guys, and let me know what you think about those 2 rumors there. Raw highlights of the week. We got Lashley defeating The Miz to retain the WWE Championship. McMahon Strowman promo, which was absolutely awful. Don't go out of your way to watch it, but it was bad. McIntyre versus Sheamus went to in a no DQ match, went to a no contest. Woods defeats Benjamin. Riddle defeats Slapjack. Jackson Baszler defeat Naomi and Lana to retain. And then Styles defeats Randy Orton in the main event. And yes, Alexa Bliss got involved. AEW Dark highlights. It was the fallout from Revolution. They had no details with regards to how many matches or the names. But you can check that out. AEW on YouTube there. Impact highlights. Jazz defeats Tasha Steelz. Storm and Sabin defeat Raju and Shira. Tension at this point between Raju and Shira. Trey defeats Sam Beal in a quick match. Good Brothers Finn Juice contract signing, which was kind of funny. They're sitting there drinking whiskey in the back, and the next thing you know, they just come to blows. And D'Amore was like, you know what? You guys figure it out yourself. Just make sure I get the contract. Chris Bay defeats Ace Austin in an amazing match. These guys should be main eventing. Absolutely two phenomenal young guys going at it there. ODB defeats Susan. And then Scott D'Amore, Moose Swan promo. And that was the announcement where Kenny Omega is going to get the winner of Moose and Swan tomorrow night at Rebellion coming up in April. ROH highlights. Dalton Castle defeats Josh Woods in a Pure Rules match. Four-corner survival match for the ROH World title shot. Jay Lethal defeats Jay Briscoe, EC3 and Matt Taven. So Jay Lethal going on to face Rush. MLW Fusion was Gino Medea defeating Gringo Loco. ACH defeating Kevin Q. National Openweight Championship match was Alexander Hammerstone defeating LA Park to retain. Dynamite. There's a lot of stuff going on. Dynamite. Phoenix defeats Matt Jackson. Kingston Mox backstage promo. They're drinking. They're making fun, playing on to the fact that the bomb itself seemed to have been built by Acme, a.k.a. Impact Wrestling, but was kind of comical. Rhodes defeats Seth Gargets. That was Cody Rhodes. And then there's a Rhodes Penta promo setting those two up, which is going to be cool. Chuck Taylor, OC backstage promo. Shivani Sting, Archer promo. A lot of promos taking place at the show. Ethan Page defeats Lee Johnson in his official AEW Dynamite debut. Then we get a Marshall versus Dustin post match kind of thing going on there. So QT Marshall still going and turning heel. Alex Marvez, Hangman Dark Order backstage promo, which is kind of cool. So Alex Marvez is kind of like, hey, how you spending the money that that Matt Hardy's giving you? And he's got a riding lawnmower. And the next thing you know, you see basically I think 6 of the Dark Order jump on this riding lawnmower. And I think they excluded 5 Allen Angels. And then next thing you know, Hangman goes to take off to go get ice cream, hence the Anna Jay reference earlier on. And the thing almost tips over backwards because I think he just floored it. And the next thing you know, the thing comes up like this. But it was comical. Where are we here? Shivani Cage promo was interrupted by Omega, Callis, and the Good Brothers. I come out and it was comical promo. Go back and watch it. I think it's on YouTube. And then all of a sudden Eddie Kingston comes out, John Moxley comes out, Christian Cage comes out. So it was kind of cool. Trios match: Shida, Ryo, Mizunami. Thunder Rosa defeats Nyla Rose, Maki Ito, as well as Britt Baker. Where are we? Darby Allin defeats Scorpio Sky to retain. Scorpio Sky turning heel, which is it could be interesting there, considering the fact the SCU, relevance. Inner Circle War Council. Obviously, guys, if you watch wrestling at all, you will have known what happened. But 2 things: the end of this and the end of NXT had me both excited, and I'm multi-streaming. So I've got AEW on the TV and I've got NXT on the tablet, and I'm watching both of these. And all of a sudden the Inner Circle looks like they're breaking up. And the next thing you know, MJF looks like he's going to get his butt kicked. And then all of a sudden it goes and it ends up the way it does, with MJF aligning himself with Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Tully Blanchard, as well as FTR. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. And you now get the Inner Circle, who are faces, take on the heel faction, led by MJF, and then Shawn Spears, obviously biased Canadian, being involved in this. So I can't wait to see what happens there. NXT highlights: Regal Crown, Kyan Gonzalez is the inaugural NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Io Shirai defeats Toni Storm to retain. Pete Dunne defeats Jake Atlas. Blackheart and Moon defeat Kai and Gonzalez to win the tag team championship, so that was surprising. Xia Li defeats Caden Carter by DQ. Legado del Fantasma defeats the Grizzled Young Veterans, and then Finn Balor defeats Adam Cole in the main event to retain. And then we get appearances by Kyle O'Reilly, with regards to Adam Cole and Karrion Kross with regards to Finn Balor. And it was cool because Finn Balor's just sitting there and the credits are starting to come up, that little logo. And Finn's just sitting there, puts the title over his shoulder and he's sitting in the middle of the ring. And the next thing you know, he just says the words, "What took you so long?" And then he looks over his shoulder and it's Karrion Kross, and goosebumps, still goosebumps right now, actually. So between what happened with the Inner Circle and what happened with Karrion Kross, as well as Finn Balor, I'm excited. So, I can't wait to see where this goes. And then NXT UK highlights Tyler Bate defeats Dave Mastiff. Heritage Cup rules match 2-1 in 5 rounds. Teoman defeats Danny Jones. Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan defeat Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Piper Niven and Jack Stars defeats Jenny and Joseph Connors. So ratings for this week: 1,897,000 for Raw, 0.55 in the 18 to 49 demo. First for the night, Canada 231,300,000. So 231,300, 127,400 in the 25 to 54 demo. I'd love to find out where Post Wrestling gets their Canadian numbers, because I know where the American numbers come from. I haven't figured out where the Canadian numbers come from yet, so I'm gonna have to track that down. Impact Wrestling 144, 0.04 in the 18 to 49 demo, 117th for the night. AEW 743.32 in the 18 to 49 demo, 4th for the night. Canada, they were outside the top 10, which means they had less than 113,500 viewers, which kind of sucks. NXT, and I was referring to this earlier on, 691.18 in the 18 to 49 demo. Last week, I think they were 692. They were 25th for the night, and then Canada outside the top 10, less than 113,500. But the fact is, they are so close right now to AEW. I don't want to see them switch nights. I want to see the Wednesday Night Wars continue, especially with the talk of NXT, the NHL going to ESPN. Have the wars exist, because like I said, I got goosebumps from 2 different shows watching them simultaneously this past Wednesday night. So keep it up. And like I said, when you look at those numbers, 743 compared to 691, and you look at last week's NXT numbers, which was 692, don't move off of Wednesdays. I know I've got absolutely no say when it comes to WWE. I'm just a fan, but the fact is, don't move off of Wednesdays. Keep the Wednesday Night Wars going, because it's actually exciting. And if you put it on Tuesdays, you go into Impact Wrestling, and to me, as an Impact Wrestling fan, it's hard enough I get to watch Young Rock and Impact Wrestling at the same time. But if anyways, NXT, stay on Wednesdays, please. Previews for tonight: WWE SmackDown, Reigns and Bryan contract signing, the KO show featuring Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and then Big E returns from injury. Obviously, Apollo Crews was to do with that. WWE 205 Live, nothing was listed as of the start of this show. And then New Japan Strong taking place tonight. Main event, New Japan Cup USA qualifier, Fred Rosser taking on JR Kratos. And then the second match is New Japan Cup USA qualifier as well. Hiko Leo taking on Jordan Clearwater. So check that out, 10 p.m. tonight on New Japan World. MMA boxing news, UFC 259 results. You can check that out, CWNonline.ca. DC and Hawane was released this past Monday, courtesy of ESPN MMA on YouTube. Misha Serkunov, I want to say I pronounced that right. Headlines 3 Canadians on weekend UFC card. I'll get more to that just momentarily here. And UFC Fight Night, Edwards versus Muhammad takes place tomorrow. So if you're not going to be watching the Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, you can check this out instead. Taking place on the UFC Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada. Main card at 8 p.m. on TSN 5. You've got the prelims 5 p.m. on TSN 5. No, excuse me. Too much talking. Main event. Number 3, Leon Rocky Edwards taking on number 13, Bilal. Remember the name. I love that name. Remember the name, Muhammad. And a welterweight belt. And then the semi-main event has number 11, Misha Serkunov, who is born in Latvia, but he is Canadian, so he's making his residence in Toronto, taking on number 13, Ryan Superman Span in a light heavyweight belt. So, guys, that is it as far as pro wrestling, boxing, as well as MMA goes. I'm going to take a short break. I got to get some water into me, but sit back and listen to these promos, as always, by Ryan Knight of the Knights of the Squared Circle, as well as Dirty Duke Durango out there in Alberta. And guys, if you got more clips, promos, send them my way, chris@cwnonline.ca or feedback@cwnonline.ca, and I will play them here in the show. But I've got Ontario right here, and I've also got Alberta. So guys, sit back and relax, and I'll be right back momentarily.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Do you want the latest info on shows and the stars that appear throughout Ontario? Are you looking for information and insight into the independent wrestling scene? Want interviews and information on the big leagues? Then you want Knights of the Squared Circle with Ryan Knight on Coyote 103. Ryan has his finger on the pulse of wrestling in Ontario on every level, and he brings that to you every Sunday at noon. Listen for your wrestling fix with Ryan Knight and Knights of the Squared Circle, Sunday at noon, only on Coyote 103.
Hey, are you getting tired of the grind? Getting tired of the same old, getting tired of living in an echo chamber? Well, if you are, tune in to the Duke You Suck podcast with Duke Durango. We'll be talking wrestling, sports of all kinds, politics, medicine, whatever else we want to get into. What I'm really looking for is for you to go on a journey with me. Perhaps we find some common ground and hopefully have a laugh along the way. So watch this space for the first episode dropping soon, the Duke You Suck podcast with me, Duke Durango.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Hashtag we are CIW, of course, Canadian Independent Wrestling. So CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca forwards you to the almost said YouTube group, but the Facebook group, and sign up for free and basically promote your gimmick, your promotion, your upcoming events, your podcast. Just keep it clean. That's all I ask. But the group is there for the promotion of Canadian Independent Wrestling. Like I said, hashtag we are CIW. And we do have some news this week for with regards to Canadian Independent Wrestling, which I'm excited about. March 28th, New School Wrestling Make 'em Wait #3, taking place 4 p.m. on iPay-per-view. So a $10 charge for the iPay-per-view, but you're supporting Ontario Independent Wrestling. Like I said, March the 28th, New School Wrestling Make 'em Wait 3, and you can find the link on CWNonline.ca. Just go to upcoming events for Indie, or on Facebook, you can find it there as well. So March the 28th, New School Wrestling doing another show. So excited about that. I can't wait until the time comes, especially after seeing that Tim McAuliffe thing last night. I can't wait until the time comes. I've got like 15 to 20 events I'm talking about that are upcoming for the weekend. I miss it. And COVID's obviously had its toll on everybody, but I miss talking about Canadian Independent Wrestling shows coming up. But that's one of them. Another one that's coming up, East Coast Pro Wrestling presents Brawl in the Hall 2021, Saturday, May the 1st at 7 p.m. New Waterford and District Community Center in New Waterford, Nova Scotia. The cool thing was, right before I went on the air, this is sold out within 2 hours. So absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully there's no changes to this. I know there was 2 other wrestling shows that had been promoted, but the legislation got involved as far as the Maritimes, Nova Scotia, specifically, that had to shut down and not shut down, but postpone the shows. This one, I hope, is set. So May the 1st, East Coast Pro Wrestling presents Brawl in the Hall 2021, New Waterford and District Community Center, New Waterford, Nova Scotia. The link will be up soon up on CWNonline.ca, but you can check them out on Instagram as far as East Coast Pro Wrestling goes. But like I said, the show is sold out within 2 hours there. So that is very, very cool. From there, we go into news from Canadian Wrestling's Elite. So CW Adrenaline returns to weekly television. With it being 5 months since Canadian Wrestling Elite has been able to produce a live event in front of a live audience, we are beyond excited to announce that in the interim, it is back to business with producing Canadian wrestling content with the return of CW Weekly television program. I got to slow down. Adrenaline returning to the airwaves. Starting this month with a date and time to be determined very shortly, CWN will return to action on a weekly basis on Shaw TV Channel 9. New episode will debut each and every week, with a replay of the episode on the same day, with multiple reruns available through the week leading up to the debut of the following week's episode. Program will be available to all Shaw cable subscribers in the Winnipeg area on Channel 9, and those across Canada to subscribers to Shaw Direct. Well, I'm saying this living in London, Ontario, Canada, so what's that mean for me? Well, don't subscribe to Shaw. We got you covered. CWE Adrenaline will be uploaded online for the world to see the following day on CWE's various social media platforms from its initial airing on television. So no matter where you are, you can stay up to date with all the latest happenings in Canadian Wrestling's Elite. And the article goes on. So guys, check that out, Canadian Wrestling's Elite on Facebook. You will find the videos once they're posted on social media, especially YouTube, up on CWNonline.ca. I love promoting independent content, especially videos on CWNonline.ca. But that is good news as well. I mean, it's just, and you've heard me talk about it on the show. I'm getting excited. I can feel that energy. I can feel that buzz that we're about to, embark on life once again. And it's going to take some time. It's not going to be like, hey, we're going to a Smash Wrestling event and there's going to be 200 fans in attendance. But I feel like we're on the verge of getting there, and I'm excited. And this isn't even stuff that's happening. I'm talking about an online event, an online series, and events taking place in Nova Scotia. But I'm excited nonetheless. So. And saying that, check out this week's Wild On with Taylor Wilde, Season 2, Episode number 8, featuring the one and only Wild Child, Jody Threat. That's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. You can find her on Anchor as well. The Duke You Suck podcast. I got to get that guy doing a promo for CWN. I just love saying that, the Duke You Suck podcast. And you've heard me say that a couple of weeks now. But anyways, it's the Chris Maloney You Suck podcast. But, whatever the case, episode number 3, current AEW star and Japanese wrestling legend Luther came out on the 9th. Guys, check that out. That's a courtesy of YouTube. 365 Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode number 93 with Haviko. That was on the 9th as well. This is all YouTube stuff, by the way. And you can find it as well, cwnonline.ca. Vidcast 42. This I was excited about. Again, props to George Mackay, Straight Talk Wrestling. But he had done a vidcast with Mark Miro, the one and only Wild Man, the one and only marvelous Mark Miro. So guys, check that out. That's courtesy of YouTube. But like I said, CWNonline.ca, you can find that as well. B-Dub Redub, episode number 2. That's courtesy of Barry Wrestling, featuring Gabriel Fuerza and Puff. Gabriel Fuerza was a recent interviewee as far as CWN Online goes, courtesy of the one and only Stephen O'Neill. I'll get to that momentarily, but you can check that out on Barry's YouTube channel. That is, like I said, B-Dub Redub, episode 2, featuring Gabriel Fuerza as well as Puff. And that was released yesterday. Also released yesterday, MPW Into the Lair, episode number 17. Stu Cruel taking on the Dark Horse. That was released yesterday as well. And then, like I had previously mentioned, Slugging with Stephen O'Neill. He does a weekly interview series on the website. Thank you very much to Stephen. It's great to have him aboard CWN. I'm loving the interviews that he's doing. I'm loving the answers that he's the responses that he's getting. He's got, I think, 4 more interviews that have been lined up that have been posted. And I haven't gone into the answers yet because I like to kind of see it live as I'm doing it. And when I say live, I mean actually taking his draft and putting it into the article and then reading it as I go. So it's kind of cool that way. But this week, this past Tuesday, he had done an interview with Tyler Arrow, Ontario Independent Wrestling Star. So check that out. That was released on the 9th, which is Tuesday. But you can find every Slugging with Stephen O'Neill brand new interview every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. launches on CWNonline.ca. So guys, definitely check that out with the interview there with Tyler Arrow. As always, CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca, like I said, forward you to the group there on Facebook. Sign up for free. Be clean, but promote. From there, yes, Canadian Wrestling Network. CanadianWrestlingNetwork.ca. You can see the social media. Just type in Canadian Wrestling Network. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. The list goes on and on and on. But I'm proud of it. As you can see, the official motto, so to speak, is one nation, one network, Canuck proud. Basically, it's a network out there to promote websites, podcasters, people who do interviews, and it's Canadian based, but I would love to have people from across the world being part of this. I was talking to my wife about it, and it's like, it is the Canadian Wrestling Network, but guys, we listen to other shows here in Canada, so it'd be great to have people come aboard as far as the Canadian Wrestling Network goes. So whether or not you're Canadian, whether or not you're overseas, whatever the case may be, the fact is, if you're a website, if you're a podcast, if you do interviews, hit me up. Hit up the email address, actually, which is, you can see there on the screen, which is network@cwnonline.ca. That's network@cwnonline.ca, and get in touch with me and let me know. We added 2 this past week. One was Gilmy Talks, so Justin Gilmetti. Hopefully I pronounced your last name right, but Gilmy Talks is now part of the Canadian Wrestling Network, as well as Team New Scott. So New Scott, officially now part of the Canadian Wrestling Network, and you can check that out. Like I said, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, as well as the website there. So CanadianWrestlingNetwork.ca is the best way to get in touch with the Canadian Wrestling Network. So that is it for the week, other than a few announcements, but it's the same as usually always, except for one. So CWN Weekly, you can find on social media. Obviously, you can just type in CWN Weekly, and you can go on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and it's individual channels for just this show alone. So CWN Weekly has its own social media channels there. So guys, go and check that out. Canadian Wrestling Network, obviously, I just talked about there. The website itself, cwnonline.ca. You can hit up and you can find pretty much everything I've talked about in the entire show as far as the articles go there. As far as the email address goes, you can check this out. Feedback at cwnonline.ca. That is the best way to get in touch with the show. As far as ideas, thoughts, concerns, questions, comments, whatever the case may be, you can check that out. Feedback at cwnonline.ca. From there, don't forget, daylight savings time tomorrow. Technically Sunday, but tomorrow. But as far as the next couple shows go for us, we have got CWN Predicts. So that is going to be Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021, March 13th, which is tomorrow, 3 p.m. If I don't go live, it'll be a premiere, but it'll be on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. Then we go into CWN Recap, and as opposed to sitting here and saying, hey, guys, if I'm still awake, it's like, no. CWN Recap, Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021 being released this coming Sunday, 3 p.m. premiere, Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. It could be live, but it probably will be a premiere based on how things go on Sunday, but look for that on Sunday, as well as CWN Weekly episode number 31. I'm going to do this first. Get in touch with me here, Chris at cwnonline.ca for those listening on audio. But episode 31, you probably expected me to say live next Friday, March the 19th, 3 p.m., Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. And it's a no. And the reason for it, guys, is this right here. See this? That is what you call a St. Paddy's Day hat. That is what I will be wearing next week. Somehow, some way, I've still got to fit these earphones on, so to speak. I might just go with the earbuds, so to speak. But guys, coming Wednesday, March 17th, live at 3 p.m., Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So St. Paddy's Day will be episode number 31 of CWN Weekly. So I'm excited to be doing the show on St. Paddy's Day. I am Irish. I am East Coast. A lot of Irish heritage in me. And it's one of those days I don't think I've ever worked on St. Paddy's Day because I've just enjoyed spending the day listening to Irish music, eating Irish food, and drinking lots of beer as well as alcohol. So in saying that, St. Paddy's Day will be episode number 31 with regards to CWN Weekly. And if you want to be involved in the show, if you are a podcaster, a huge fan, if we've ever met, whatever the case may be, hit me up, Chris at cwnonline.ca, and let me know you want to be part of episode number 31. So it will be, like I said, Wednesday, St. Paddy's Day, March the 17th, live at 3 p.m., Facebook Live, Twitch, as well as YouTube. But hit me up, Chris at cwnonline.ca. I will do the news and everything else, and I will do previews for AEW, obviously, NXT, talk about Raw, talk about the Tuesday shows with regards to Impact, but I will be drinking on the show, and I'll be taking it easy. I'm not going to get all kind of crap faced, but I will be drinking on the show. So if you want to talk wrestling, and kind of go a little bit off script, and just enjoy St. Paddy's Day with me with a beer on your end, and whatever the case may be, Chris at cwnonline.ca, and let me know you want to be part of the St. Paddy's Day show. So I'm looking forward to it. I was like, you know what? Why not go 2 days early? Why not do the show on St. Paddy's Day? So that'll be the case. You might see some green lighting. You're going to see some green backdrops. You might see some green beers. But it will be me all decked out in St. Paddy's Day gear. Can't do it at the bars anymore. I'm too old to be doing it anyways. But fact is, when it comes down to it, I'm looking forward to March 17th, St. Paddy's Day, episode number 31 of CWN Weekly. So guys, that is it. As always, check me out at Chris Maloney CWN on social media. Hope you enjoyed the new opening. Hope you enjoyed the new music. The music will change up again briefly, so to speak, with regards to Wednesday. It'll be Celtic music. Excuse me, as far as the opening and the closing goes. And the graphics, you won't see the red, you'll see some green, but the fact is it'll still be CWN Weekly, so episode number 31. But like I said, at Chris Maloney, CWN, check me out there. So guys, that is it for episode number 30. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Hit the like, subscribe button, all that jazz, and we'll see you for predicts as well as recap this coming weekend. And episode number, I almost said 17, episode number 31 of CWN Weekly on St. Paddy's Day. So guys, looking forward to doing that show. And until next time, talk to everybody again sometime soon.